What's going on, guys? It's been a while, but I'm back with another review for you, and I finally watched The Flash, and after the movie was over, I thought maybe it wasn't as bad as I heard. Like, hear me out. This movie had a lot of problems that we're going to touch on later in the video, but this movie wasn't as bad as Thor: Love and Thunder, even though I feel like you had to actively try to make a movie that bad, but at least this movie was enjoyable at times. For the most part of the plot was actually kind of good in my opinion. I mean, for any comic book nerd or literally anyone who knows about the Flash story, you know about Flashpoint, so without even seeing the movie, you already know the plot. One of my favorite adaptations from Flashpoint is coming from the Justice League cartoon, where when Flash goes back in time and then, finds out everything's changed, actually Batman is Thomas Wayne, his father, and then the Joker is Martha Wayne. And it just seems a lot cooler to me. I mean, it's a Batman who kills and doesn't really, have the same morals as Bruce. So I feel like they want to win this way. It probably would have been a more interesting story, but I do love Michael Keaton still. I mean, we all know Flash as a character is a witty. I mean, he acts like a goofball 80% of the time. Kind of like Spider-Man, but more annoying, at least to me. And I don't think really Ezra Miller really, kind of hit the nail on the head with that one, or at least what I believe should, kind of have the persona as the Flash, but that's just my opinion. Also, the suit he wore was definitely not my favorite. The design is cool, but the head makes him look like a Funko Pop. And I'm not sure if they, added like a muscle suit under it, but it definitely didn't make it look any better. I mean, every time he's on screen wearing the suit, it just looks like CGI. I mean, unless he's super close to the screen, it looks a lot better, but every time he's just moving, it looks like he's not actually there, almost like She-Hulk. And then I like his old suit better, like in the Justice League, it felt more realistic and just complemented his body composition more. And then speaking of the CGI, that's probably the worst part of the movie for me. I mean, literally the first 5 minutes of the film where he starts running and it's to aid Batman out of the hospital. For the audience seeing the Flash run for the first time in his own movie, I feel like, I'm gonna give CW just a lot more credit for Grant Gustin's Flash, because I mean, it just did not look good to me. It looked like he was just gliding rather than actually running. And then this scene right here when he's saving the babies from falling, from the sky, you look at the babies' faces mid-scene, it looks like Play-Doh, or the babies are just not real at all. It just didn't spend enough time doing the CGI correctly. I mean, even the Eternals speedster for their movie just looked a lot better with their running scene. It was a quick running scene, but I mean, if they would have done anything like this remotely in a Flash movie, I would have enjoyed this way much slower, just way better. Now, for the characters in the film, like Michael Keaton or even Wonder Woman, short role, I feel kind of even outplayed the Flash just a little bit in his own movie. I mean, literally the moment between Wonder Woman, Batman, or Ben Affleck, and then Flash, the little lasso of truth moment, was literally funnier than anything the past Barry was saying all throughout the movie. It just seemed kind of a little bit pushed, almost like how the director of Love and Thunder was doing it. But in my opinion, I just think Michael Keaton just had a way bigger role, and I enjoyed seeing him on screen rather than the Flash. I mean, I wasn't much of a fan of having a younger version of Ezra Miller on screen, although I did like what it did for the plot, especially when it came to Black Flash and how they tied into it. But maybe I'm just still stuck on Grant Gustin a little bit, and then especially with his Iris, but Ezra Miller and his Iris just kind of felt wrong. I mean, I didn't really feel any much chemistry between them, just kind of a rushed storyline. And now Supergirl of the movie, I mean, she was a highlight. I wish we saw more of her, but nonetheless, enjoyed seeing her in the other variants of Superman, like the Nicolas Cage Superman. Really glad we never got that movie back in the day, but I'm glad, it was kind of a little sneak peek. But in my opinion, though, I'm shocked that they still went with, even releasing the movie. I thought they were just going to scrap everything and start again, because I think they should have went with the Marvel route and, waited to make the Justice League. So when they're finally together, it kind of makes sense, for the casual viewer at least, and the build-up is a lot better, just like the Avengers. And I say that mostly because can any casual viewer really tell me about the villain in the Justice League or about Darkseid? They need build-up before both the antagonist and protagonist. Thanos in the Marvel was built up and it led us all the way through Infinity War, and it just created a whole thing, even for the casual viewers to enjoy. But Darkseid is such a, crazy big villain for the Justice League that it should have been movies down the line before we even get to see him. You know what I mean? I feel it was just a lot rushed, especially even with Doomsday. That should have been a big event too, just for the movies alone. I don't understand anyone who really wants to make the Justice League a big box office move. Why would you put together Justice League without even producing Wonder Woman yet, a Batman Ben Affleck film by itself? I mean, they did Superman the movie before, so that was good, but the Flash movie should probably came out. we probably don't need a Cyborg movie, so that's dead. But you know, something like a little build up, you know, so we can get this really big event happening. And, you know, hopefully, you know, for DC, at least a movie like Blue Beetle turns around and probably it's the best movie for DC this year. I'm not sure Joker's coming out this year. But again, thank you for watching this video if you made it this far. And please like, subscribe like always. And again, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.